Yeah, well, I happened to become one of the three major iconic images of 7/7, quite inadvertently. The emergency workers took a long time to come in to rescue us, about an hour or so. And when eventually we did come out at the triage place at Marks and Spencer's at Edgware Road, there were photographers there. And my experience from then on was a kind of ironic one, because I found a lot of journalists came to see me because they were intrigued by this fact that I was into risk sociology and media, and that I had got caught up in this very risky event. The irony was that drew them to me, but then they didn't take any notice of it. In other words, they were interested in me just as a victim, one particular identity. And I wanted, in the many interviews I did on television, radio and the press, to try and use my competence as well.
In 2007, I was showing a piece of work at the Wellcome Collection as part of their War and Medicine exhibition. And it was an artwork called The Watchman, which is a big video and sound installation. And in connection with that exhibition, I wanted to hold, or I held, a interdisciplinary discussion forum called the Memory Forum. It was part of a series I'd been running since 2006. And I worked with Kate Ford, who's a curator at the Wellcome Collection. And we invited a whole series of different people from different disciplines to come and meet and discuss questions around memory and conflict. And John was one of the people we invited to come and take part in that. I think that was when we first met.
Yes, that is right. And I was very taken with the film that Shona showed at that forum. It was about her father and the trauma of a man who went into, as a very young, really a boy, in the British Army, into the concentration camps in Germany just after the Second World War, when they were just opened, and the terrible trauma for him.
I think it was probably about 2 years after that John and we kept in touch, and we met for a coffee and conversation, and then I proposed that we make this work together. One of the things that I really wanted to do with the work was to really open up questions, to open up a kind of dialogue between different areas of expertise, lived experience, and the public, and to question the forms of representation for an event such as 7/7, and also the longer-term impact. So very often, an event like this will happen. There'll be a lot of news and media response, and then we move on to the next event. So I think I was particularly interested in the kind of long-term impacts of such an event, not just on the individual, but also on the kind of invisible architectures, if you like, of control and state power.
I was relying a lot on Shona's creativity, which I'll talk more about in a second, but she had ideas, or she'd simply say, "Can we take a photograph of your ear close up?" So it was at that kind of very technical level, which turned out to be incredibly important in the film. So I didn't know what was going on in some ways. There's one shot she did of my back. Now, I'm not an actor, but no actor thinks they can act with their back. Well, there are not many who can. I didn't really know what was going on there, but I trusted her. I'd seen her earlier work.
I would say, yes, I would say something more about that, in that there was a kind of overarching structure for the work. There was this move, if you like, from the individual impact of the explosion, and then, and in quite simplistic terms, moves through to the exposure and use of John's image by the media, and then the film moves into the it moves into the control orders. So you read every single control order in the film. You're made to read every single one.
I think what artists like Shona are trying to do is work at a language that can open this space up again, find forms in this multi-layered way that she deals with colour and image and time and space and so on. And because in half it's an elusive, poetic film, it does open that space. If it was only the terror, the 90 Days Without Charge terror legislation orders throughout, it would be seen as a bit of doctrinaire propaganda from a particular political position. But because there are this interweaving of inner and outer spaces and time zones and inner and outer spaces and all of that stuff, then she's and all the different identities, actually, I think, inviting audiences in to interpret in new ways.